wheels keep on turning, carry me home to see my kin, singing songs about Southland. I miss old Balmy once again. Sweet home to now, where the skies are so blue. Sweet home to now, and I'm coming home to you. Hey everybody, Cody Hunter here, your host of the D.S.T.V. That's right, the Do Something TV, and we're back again with another video. First off, team, thank you for joining the channel. Thank you for supporting me on this ride where I just share anything that I feel like sharing on this particular day that will hopefully help you do something. Now today I wanted to make a little bit of an interesting video. Now some of you that know me will know that I returned back to New Zealand from living overseas for roughly 14 years, less than 3 years ago. And that transition was massive. Now I've listed about 5 things that I wanted to talk about today. Now these things are things that I wish I knew before moving back from another country. Things that I wish I had considered, things I wish I had thought about other than all the really cool, exciting things, but the things that were actually real. So today I'm going to address these things. I've broken it down to just 5, but I'm sure there are plenty more. But I hope you find some value in what I'm about to talk about. Here we go. Number 1 thing that I wish I knew before moving back to New Zealand was this. You are a foreigner. Now, when you've lived overseas for so many years like I did, coming back to New Zealand, you feel like a complete foreigner. Now, number 1, everything is like reverse culture shock, so everything's very foreign to you anyway. Number 2, your accent is strange, so people don't believe that you're from New Zealand. The amount of times I was asked to prove my identity, prove if I have a New Zealand passport, and just basically show people that I'm from here was crazy. I couldn't believe it, because in my world, my accent was very New Zealand, but to everyone else that's from New Zealand, I sounded South African, Australian, and like I was from North America. So it was very much a expat accent, and people were quite confused by it, and they needed me to prove that I was a New Zealand citizen. Number 2, making friends becomes very difficult. Now that's not so much because you've just come back from overseas, but it's really is the fact that number 1, you don't play for any football teams, you don't have this like instant connection with people. You are a 40-year-old man who needs to now join a circle of friends. Now if you work with a group of people, sure, you may be able to infiltrate it, but I did not. So trying to find a way to jump back into those circles of friends was quite difficult because everyone already has their friends group. Everyone already has that person that lived overseas for years. It's almost like that episode of Friends where you have to have a category of all your types of friends from different areas of the world or different lives. And I felt like that most people had their friends group sorted, so they didn't need any more, so you didn't get any invites. Now, it could just mean that we weren't cool people and no one wanted to hang around with us. Sure, that's also the case, but either way, it was tough. Number 3, team, it was very inconvenient moving to New Zealand after living over in Asia for many years. Now, obviously, living in the middle of Seoul is where we're at. Things are easy, they are fast, they are instant, it is bang, bang, bang. It's in the central area where you can get anything you want really, really quickly. Coming back to New Zealand, which is a lot further away from everywhere, means you have to wait a long time if you want anything shipped internationally. It means if you want to even get something like food, there's not many options to get food delivered compared to what we were used to. There are a lot of things that feel inconvenient. Now also, living in the middle of Seoul, where we were, you didn't even need to own a car, but public transport and walking was super convenient. You could get anywhere you wanted quite easily. But here, right now, we're living in Christchurch. Recently, we sold our vehicle because we are moving to Auckland, and having no car is basically putting yourself into a lockdown in this city. Because if you can't drive anywhere, you're just stuck in your neighborhood. You're going to the neighborhood playgrounds, the neighborhood stores, everything is local, and you can't really go anywhere. So it's really, really inconvenient. Number 4, one thing I wish I knew was you need to be prepared to be homesick. Of course, you were homesick when you were living overseas. You thought about your homeland all the time, the people, the music, the environment. But when you get here, you don't even actually think about the fact that you spent the majority of your adult life in a different country. And when you come back here, you start to miss it. And I don't mean like miss it a little bit, you miss everything about it. The people, the culture, the food, the friends you made over there, everything about it. Then you get a really interesting show like Squid Game comes out, which obviously is filmed and from Korea on Netflix, and all of a sudden you miss it even more because it's all the culture. You're hearing the language, you're seeing the people, and mate, you get majorly homesick. And the last thing that I wish I knew, or I wish I told myself before moving back here, was have very low expectations. And I don't mean about just the area or the people or anything like that. I mean about what you think you can achieve in a certain period of time. I just thought I would come back here and boom, straight back up into the same level of work or friendships or whatever it was when I was in Korea. And you've got to remember that is not going to happen. Number one, that was 14 years of work. Years and years of moving and grooving and growing yourself as a person and establishing relationships. And you've got to remember that when you come back here, you are a big fat zero. Exactly. I went from being in my world, I'm quite grateful to say that I was quite successful while I was over there. I had really great friendships and relationships and was able to kind of connect and do what I wanted. And I came back to New Zealand and I was a big fat zero. So you've got to be prepared to start again. And you've got to be prepared to know that it's going to be a long period of time before you even feel like you are, number one, settled, that you are local, and that you can perform at the same level that you performed while you were away. Now, as we move into almost our third year, and my brother always said this, he said, bro, you need 2 years, man, before you feel like you're going to settle down. He's exactly right, although I'm more like 3. And as I move into a new job, a new role, moving to a new city, getting my groove back, it's been almost 3 years, but holy shit, I feel like it's coming back. I feel like my mojo is back finally. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in and listening in on my top 5 things I wish I considered or thought about before I moved back to New Zealand. And of course, there are way more. There are so many more, and there are some that are way too heavy to be talked about in this video, but there are plenty there. Please do me a favor and like this video and subscribe. Again, I'm happy and excited to have you on this journey to fucking do something each and every day. Now, your do something is yours do something. My do something right now is making daily videos for you and making sure my mindset is crushing it and I'm taking action on the things that I want to do. Taking action is tough, but we have to remember that once you kick it off, momentum is beautiful and you'll be really, really excited and surprised by how much you will achieve if you just keep going one step in front of the other. Get up and fucking do something today that makes you happier, healthier, stronger, and build better relationships with people. And we'll see you all again in the next video. Cody Hunter